Hello, guys. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going into Upwork and their new branding. This has just been launched. I think today is when the first day I saw it on LinkedIn. So, Brutin, I told you
Very
in the
new.
comments we have to talk about this. So, what do you think?
Yes.
What do you think?
We actually didn't find much on the internet.
Yeah.
It's just superbly new. So let's see what we find. A strategic new platform, a new dimension of work. So that's the main statement, brand statement, positioning statement.
Yeah.
Work works for everyone. Nothing much, to be honest, in a way. They are just focusing more on remote work, which is what their platform is about.
Yeah.
The refresh will soon be rolled out across the entire company and the product experience, which is too early, Gurjinder. We're not even waiting for them to roll it out.
We are. Yeah. I mean, that's on
Close to
not WK. Why did you guys
Right.
reveal this already today? So,
Right. Nice. So flexible and dynamic approach to typography. Let's see if that's the case. Layout stands out. And flair. Inspired
yeah.
by the flexible nature of the future of work. And that's the first image. So in terms of the word mark, there's not much change, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any change. It's just a visual thing now, which is
Yeah.
this. What do you call it? In a way, it's a 3D effect, but it's just
Yeah.
an effect.
This sort of dynamic
effect.
typography.
And there goes the first thing for us to talk about. What do you think?
Yeah.
What's your first reactions?
I'm seeing a lot of this interesting new green gradient, but that's the thing. That's the only thing I see. I only see green. I don't see any other colors. Maybe that didn't exist in the earlier Upwork, and maybe Collins has just, turned me into a little kid who wants to see colors everywhere. But
Right.
why not have an alternative palette that you can pull from as you grow the brand? I think there's also an over reliance to sort of like the blank white background with like black text on top. At some points it gets a little bit boring, like the future of work is here down there. That's the one I might have a problem with. I do respect the idea of sort of this collaged effect. It's not the first time I've seen something like that, but I think it's the first time I've seen it with dynamic typography. So that's something definitely that is going for them. And I like the way that the word talent is shown in that picture. That's really cool. So yeah, for me, it's a little bit, not all over the place, but it's a little bit scattered, and I just haven't connected everything together. I just haven't found that one thing to latch onto.
And you know what's funny is that I was kind of positive coming into it, and I thought you would be more negative, but you kind of mellowed down, and I feel it's all over the place now.
Okay, yeah, let me hear you now.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of this photography that you see, a very cinematic kind of photo with the word talent written. This has you can say, an upscale vibe. Even this has an upscale vibe. But again, typography wise, this and this just feels so different. It has a white border, rounded border at that. It's not the Upwork logo either. Upwork, not guesswork, that's fine, but it doesn't work for me. But then you have, happy photos, products, kind of this. What you can call it? I think this is the filter on my subtitles as well. On this video, you'll see it, which is kind of a rectangular background shape. I think it's there on Instagram as well, with various text filters. Using it on posters makes sense. This works as a system, as you can see, right? The grow teams is in that upward kind of dynamic range, and it's just so many things, so much of a difference in visuals. Like with this black on green text, and here is completely different. White text, black rectangular scaffolding, like here it's again very different. So I mean, what's their consistent thing? If this is your consistent thing, this one, which is images with rectangles, rounded rectangular, you can say framings, that works, that totally works. But this and all of these kind of just, that's my head spinning a bit. Even with this one, it says something around work itself. Again, just black text on white background. Why not this visualization? So, yeah, feels all over the place, honestly.
And I like that you were focusing a lot on the photography, and I didn't speak enough on it. But if we look at Upwork, okay, it's a future of remote work, right? It's a future where, you know, it's a new dimension of work, as they're saying, right? But a lot of these photography pieces, they feel like they're happening in-house. So it feels like an in-house design team, an in-house marketing team. They're working on it together. So if that's the case, then are we seeing more of the client side? And why don't we see more of the talent side? A lot of this just like stock photography, like, okay, a very diverse group of people shown in these pictures. That's great. But there's nothing new here, right?
Photography-wise, nothing new.
Couldn't we take a moment to capture like the real talent who work from their home stations? You know, and that's really what Upwork is all about. It's not about what it looks like here is just in-house people working, you know, at a startup office. And that's not what Upwork is.
I think what they're trying to capture is the moment of communication. To give them kind of a, you can say, benefit of the doubt, which is like with this, as you see, she's looking somewhere else, they're looking at the screen, she's looking at the screen, she's pointing to something on an iPad, looking somewhere. This guy's looking somewhere, she's on a laptop, maybe a meeting. Again, these guys are on near a laptop speaking with each other. This guy is directly looking at something, talking about it. So it's, I mean, you're right. It doesn't reflect the side of the designers, architects, whoever you hire, the talent. It doesn't reflect the side of the talent more. Another thing that comes to mind is grow teams, not cubicle farms, right? If that's a positioning, if that's your text, and then top talent a tap away, it just feels like they're just commoditizing work too much. Don't you feel?
Yeah.
It's just like,
it is.
Oh, you don't need cubicle farms, grow teams. Well, you grow teams in cubicles and not on the internet. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Then top talent a tap away.
Yeah, there'll always be, as a part of that, like I run my own agency, and I tried to put a little bit of my profile on Upwork, but the reason why it didn't work is that I don't like the hourly pricing model for the future of my agency. I don't like that Upwork and Fiverr, even worse, has established, you know, what is maybe in the United States terms, as, you know, a very cheap version of labor, and creative labor. So that's a reason why I don't find myself belonging on Upwork. Maybe it's somewhere I go to find other niche creators, right? And niche, you know, designers, niche artists. But it's not maybe a place where I go to build a team that is going to have a lot of chemistry, and a team that is going to replace maybe having an internal team that is more forever. So that's a little bit of a harder positioning to get at.
And exactly what we were saying, which is they're saying it themselves. Just look at the contrast and you'll know it yourself. Yeah. This image looks good, but completely different. Looks good, that's fine, but different, completely different. This is just my opinion in terms of, I'm just throwing out a creative vision. A better vision can be the fact that if you think about it again, all of these texts, work that works for you, or, you know, like find your higher calling. It's all from the perspective, the photographs, as you mentioned, it's all from the perspective of the client, the person on Upwork finding talent. A better vision or a better brand marketing campaign from the side of the talent would have been helpful. Very simple, like a mother or a brother working on two things at the same time to support his family. Very simple. Yeah. Or a carpenter who loves doing carpenter work, woodwork, but on the side has a job. So he's on Upwork doing some good work. About empowering talents more and how they are empowered through Upwork. That would have been a better vision than telling clients you can get people on Upwork. We know that already. That side of the work doesn't need empowering, right? If anything. Yeah. So that would have worked, right?
Again, an overexposure of the commoditization of work instead of maybe celebrating the really the plethora of talent that you can readily find on Upwork. I think that is the matter that we should have been closer to, is celebrating those types of people, celebrating where they come from, their backgrounds. And I think that just adds more warmth to the Upwork brand. And so, like, you know, for me, going to Upwork, I want good reputation, I want good talent, and I want reliable people that have, you know, an ability to perform well in the professional environment. I want those types of qualities. And maybe as a brand, we should call out that, yes, we care about that too. We care about the integrity of the talent pool that we have. So that is going to be an area of focus for us. And if the brand identity and the whole brand itself kind of gives more to that mission, I think Upwork can be a more successful brand. And it can be something we look up to.
And right now it feels like a refreshed Upwork. That's it. That's what they're saying as well, a brand refresh. Which, I mean, then we can't blame them much because it's a refresh. So there's not much that they could do in a way. Again, one of our favorite mockups is back. Fence mockups, wall mockups.
Yes, there it is. And it's this time it's a brand new city, and the pictures aren't like rubbed off. They're not scratchy. You know, it's a very tight kept like corporate city. Like, wow, very clean. But I don't think it reflects the plethora of cities that Upwork Talent comes from, actually.
Right.
That's the thing, right? It feels very, very corporate.
Like, I don't know where they're using this, where they're not using this, because they're not using this effect on these texts.
Yeah.
So it's just them using it wherever they want. This picture was white background before. I'm sure it would.
Yeah.
I can bet on it. Yeah. So randomly it gets dark to dark mode with this.
Yeah. I think the dynamic typography looks impressive, but that's not enough for me. It's not enough for me that a part of your graphics looks impressive. I want it to tie back to a story. Now, if we compare this to something similar like Decathlon, right? We looked at that a few months back. Decathlon really pulled off dynamic typography well because at the nature of the sport and the exercise and the activity that people that wear their items are a part of is dynamic. It's it's outdoors, right? It's being a part of nature. It's being part of like movement. That makes so much sense for Decathlon. Why does it make sense for Upwork? Other than the fact that this is a new trend.
And they're also aiming for more stationary, like less travel. So why is it dynamic if you're actually telling me I can work on my laptop with anyone?
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
or maybe we could create a Upwork version of Upwork that, you know, is a little bit like Airbnb, where we celebrate those who work online, but like nomads. So then, let's celebrate the worldly nature of that. But here we're not celebrating enough. We're not celebrating enough of the worldly nature of the talent pool that we have, and we are only reflecting the client side. So maybe this should have been like the Upwork client side of the rebranding. There's still more to the story, the complete other half. And I'll tell you, Bratin, I had to use Upwork at the last startup I was at. We hired a motion graphics artist, really talented guy. I think his name was Darius. Forgive me because it's been a few years if I'm getting that wrong, but I'm pretty sure. And, you know, in the Upwork platform, there's a client side, there's a talent side, and those are completely different logins, completely different sides of the platform. So something that is like two-sided, like a two-sided coin, or, you know, like I don't think there's a two-sided die, but with that idea in mind, we could have seen something like that out of Upwork in this new evolution. But right now it feels like a regression, right? It doesn't feel like I think we've hit a ceiling where we can take the brand and its message, and we have to break that ceiling and achieve something that means something more. I think you have found product market fit. Upwork has definitely found that. They're a very popular app and platform. Now is the moment to take control over what the brand means and really establish the brand as something. Because there's really nothing stopping from another Upwork alternative to pop up that is maybe even more AI driven. And, maybe now you can find a plethora of AI talent pool, of AI agents, specially trained in the specific things.
Let's start that. Why don't we start that? We have a better positioning than Widen gave them. But I mean, to be honest, they did. I don't think Widen and Kennedy had much of freedom with this as well. It's just brand refresh. So they couldn't change the identity, the positioning and all that. But I hope Upwork does it slowly, in-house itself, or maybe with another agency. Maybe with Gesso or Amig, Google them if you don't know what we're talking about. And very interesting times for them, because there's such a huge competition like Fiverr and lots of other smaller players as well who are doing really great. You'll find better talents there. If you don't find better talents there, you'll be able to better manage them. Various other product side helps that they're giving. So I'm sure they're in a good place, but they're in a really competitive space. So they have to keep killing it, keep innovating, and I hope they do that. I hope you guys learned something, and see you on the next one.